Truth wears no mask, seeks neither place nor applause, bows to no human shrine. She only asks a hearing. Very pleasant good day to you wherever you may be. Welcome to the University of Common Sense. My name is Tim Morrow, and our subject is vaccine, friend or foe. And this is a very crucial time because in the state of California, people cannot opt their children out of having a shot. You have to have a shot. And they say, so I just kind of want to explain to you, let you make up your mind about shots, because I'm gonna talk about it, not just my thoughts on it, but this comes from books and people who are for and people who are against. But at least know the other side. Don't just assume that your child is going to be fine because they have a shot, or you are going to be fine because you had a shot. Don't just assume that. At least be informed. So let me tell you about what happened. This is what happens when a vaccine enters the body. When the immune system is overridden and the body is forced to respond to a series of vaccination, it becomes overwhelmed and confused. And we'll talk about that in a little bit more. More people die from vaccination and drug taking than all other causes combined. And as for this person, I can tell you all shots are lethal. The fact that they didn't kill you is not its fault. It's that we are very well put together. And we didn't die in spite of what was put in us. The body responded. Let me give you this idea, is that the body takes care of itself. All the body wants from us is the raw material. But here's what happens when you take a shot. A shot bypasses the grand order of what God has given us. When you take a shot, you bypass all the things. Everything that enters us is supposed to enter through the mouth. It is then filtered through the system that God gave us. Then and only then is it allowed into the bloodstream. And everything we eat is not allowed into the bloodstream. It is just not pure enough to reach the bloodstream. But when you take a shot, you actually can take a shot in your foot. It actually reaches the heart before it has a chance to be purified. And people drop dead on the spot from a shot. But nobody stops giving the shot because there's a lot of money to be made in it. And that's what's happening in California. They don't want you to be able to refuse a shot for your child. And we see more and more. You know, after that shot, they gave them that shot when they were 1 year old, and they're never going to get past 1 year old mentally. Why? Because that's what the shot's done to them. And for a boy, that's crucial. But for a girl, it's 10 times worse. Do you know why? Because that little boy is going to be bad enough. Remember, he's going to grow up to be a man, and a strong man. Whatever he does in his lifetime, he may like you, dislike you, he may beat you up. His character has been determined by the drug that was put in him. And as the baby is soft, all the tissues are soft. So that shot is absorbed totally and into the brain. Bad enough that is a boy. It's even worse if it's a girl, because that little girl is going to grow up to be a very strong person also. But there's one other thing about that girl. She, from the age of 13 to the age of 53, she's going to have a menstrual cycle that she doesn't even know how to take care of. Who's going to take care of that menstrual cycle? Now let me tell you who's responsible. Who's accountable for the severe side effect of vaccines? You are. That's it. Like it, dislike it, stand neutral on it. Legislators will not be held accountable. They're the ones who say you must get the shot, but they will not be held accountable. And I say it this way, if you can't protect your body from taking shots, you can't protect anything you own also. If the guy walks into my house and says, hey, I want you to move out here in 3 days, I'm going to take over your house, I couldn't protect myself from a shot. I can't protect myself from my property either. And let me tell you one other thing. An injustice to one of us is an injustice to all of us. Let me tell you what the common vaccine ingredients and side effects are. Now, let me tell you some of these names you can't even pronounce. But most of it is from a cow. Let's talk about where did it actually come from. First, a cow is strapped down on a table and one side of her body is shaved. Then anywhere from 40 to 60 incisions are cut into the skin. Into each of these wounds is placed some kind of filth that is harvested by the medical field to form a pustule. It is the pus from these pustules which is mixed with some chemicals that are squirted into your unsuspecting child's bloodstream. The waste that the cow tried to eliminate because her body could not make use of it becomes medicine for humans. Don't that sound like a horror story? It really is. And listen to this name. Listen to this name. Today, the same cow pus is called pure calf limp smallpox vaccine. Now let me tell you why they call it that. When they give you a shot, your immune system goes to work. We have lymph nodes everywhere. Under here, all up the face, but everywhere, wherever we've been, we have lots of these lymph nodes. Their job is to that if when you take a shot or eat, especially eating things like milk or from a cow or cheese or stuff like that, these lymph nodes will grab the poison, hold it at abeyance until you do something about it. Well, this is what doctors call lymph node. And that's what they're calling here. Because your lymph nodes are called into action. They go to work, they grab that waste, and they will enlarge in an attempt to hold more waste. Medicine calls them your enemy. They're called your enemy. God, that's a gift from God. Because we got them all over, especially anywhere we've been. Women have more than men. That's the reason why they get lumps in the breast. That's your friend, not your enemy. Never has been your enemy. It is enlarging in an attempt to hold the waist. When the waist is gone, they go back down to their normal size where they stand guard over you all the days of your life. But that's what they call pure calf limp smallpox. Remember this, something else. Whatever you eat or whatever you inject from whatever animal it is, you will now suffer the side effects of whatever that animal suffers with. Whatever the cow suffers with, you drink the cow's milk, you eat the butter, you do all that, you suffer with what the cow suffers with. Everything that enters your body has to enter through the mouth. Nature has provided humans with certain apertures to carry out the vital functions of life. If the bloodstream were intended to have things emitted directly into it, there would surely be an aperture for that, but there is none. That needle, when it invades that is invading your bloodstream. When you invade the bloodstream, you enter God's territory. God sees blood as very precious. Anybody that enters your bloodstream, whether with a needle or whatever it is, you've entered properly. You now are sailing on uncharted waters. That's the reason why they never know what the side effect is going to be of that child or what's going to happen to that child. Because you shot something directly into the bloodstream. Unfortunately, when you shoot it directly into the bloodstream, the body has no choice except to accept it. Not like when you eat it, because when you eat it and the body don't want it, the body will actually make you throw it up. That's your friend. That's an emergency that has arisen, and the body is doing the job that it's supposed to do, and that is taking care of business. It'll make you sweat. It'll make you vomit. It'll make you do anything to get that out of you, but not when it directly enters the bloodstream. When it enters the bloodstream, the body has to accept it. That's why, in the state of California, they put you to death with a lethal injection. Every injection is lethal. The fact that it didn't kill you, it means you are fearfully and wonderfully made. And in spite of what you did to it, the body didn't die, but you didn't escape either. There's always a side effect of a drug. In fact, the CEO of Eli Lilly, which is the largest manufacturer of drugs on earth, he said, and listen folks, listen to what he said. He said, if it ain't got a side effect, it ain't a drug. Don't that say everything to you? The side effects are killers. Let me tell you from the book, The Totally Healthy Person, written by Harvey Diamond, and the subtitle is A Case Against Medicine. But he talks a lot about shots and what shots do and what they don't do. But here's one of the things I wanted to read to you from that. It says, in the words of Ida Honoroff, that's her name, isn't it a high time we spoke out against the atrocities admitted against us in the name of preventable medicine? Listen to this. Inoculate for smallpox, inoculate for mumps, inoculate for typhoid and for colds and nervous slumps. Inoculate with cow pus and germs of every brand. Inoculate with monkey glands to make us young again. But one fine day the laity will act in self-defense to inoculate the doctors with a little common sense. Does that make sense? What they're telling you is that what they put in you is they take the glands from monkeys and dogs, and that's what's squirted into your unsuspecting child's bloodstream. It's a killer. And now we're going to suffer a lot more. Let me tell you something else we're going to suffer with. We're going to suffer a lot more because now Americans can take a lot more drugs and they are cheaper. And since you have to have insurance now, people use their insurance whether they need it or not. Why? Because they're paying for it. So when you go to the doctor's going to give you more drugs. We're already suffering from drugs. The number 3 killer in America is drug taking. First is cancer. Second is heart attacks. And third is taking drugs for those. So that really makes the drug taking number 1. So we're taking more drugs now. We're already suffering. Those boys that killed, starting with Columbine, every one of them were taking a drug. All drugs do the same thing. We put these kids in school way before they should be in school. And when they don't act correctly, they don't act like the adult, what do? We drug them. And now they walk into the theaters and shoot up somebody. The pharmaceutical is never brought into it. It was not there. These were just kids that went crazy. They don't tell you about the ones that where the parents walk home, go in, open the garage door, and there their kid is hanging by the neck because the drug causes you to want to commit suicide. That's what's going on with us. And when they walk into the theater, you know, any one of us can become the victim of them. And all in the name of, we want to make you well. How do you make you well? By making you sick. My problem with it is nobody is held accountable. Nobody is held accountable for the acts that these poor children do. And of course they're going to reach the day when everybody has to have a shot. I mean, they're really working on adults. That if they could, they'd make adults take shots. They just can't. But everybody's going to have a shot. And whatever that shot does to you, the people who made it happen will not be held accountable for. You and I are. So if we are, then that means we need to do some kind of action. Now let me tell you what God's way of doing things is. When the woman is pregnant with the baby, she's the incubator. As soon as the baby is born, the baby goes on the breast. That's God's immune system. The mother's breast is God's way of immuning that baby against anything and everything. And it stands to reason that that would be so. Why? Because she's the one that carried that baby. She would be the one who could inoculate that baby with her breast. That's good enough for God. That's good enough for me. You see now, they're trying to stop mothers from breastfeeding their children in a public place, even though they're covered up. That's so that the babies can be sick and you bring them to the doctor. Even now, you have to take, if your kid is born at home, they're making laws that, well, you have to take it to the doctor. For what? So the doctor can make it sicker? That's exactly what's going on. The killer diseases that has happened in the last 70 or 80 or 90 years, now we're suffering with the side effects of it. And the side effects are bad, like walking into a theater and killing up a bunch of people that you know nothing about, or hanging yourself, or something like that. But it's the side effect of the drug, and they tell us that. They literally tell us that. And what do? We do it anyhow. I just want to explain just a few side effects that they're right about. And this is inoculation. The side effect is nausea, glaucoma, heart disease, typhoid disease. It's got muscle spasms, tremors, dry mouth, blurred vision, constipation, sensitive to sunlight, retention of fluids, fever, allergy. That's just a few of the things that happen taking these shots or taking these drugs. So I'm saying to us, America, wake up. They're making us sick, and they tell you on television that it'll make you sick. It'll cause you to have a stroke, a heart attack, and death. Well, if death comes first, you don't have to worry about the other two. I don't know if that's consolation or not. But I'm waiting for the day when the medical field, when you say to the medical field, well, this causes you to have a stroke, a heart attack, and death. And they say, well, death is a cure. They would use anything that they can. Death actually is a cure. Unfortunately, it's not the one that we're looking for. So we need to wake up and realize that we, the individual, needs to do something about what they're forcing on us. It's time for us to wake up and realize that growing old does not make us sick. It's growing sick that makes us old. For the University of Common Sense, I'm Tim Morrow. And you'll see us next time.